You know what I'm in desperate need of doing? I need to redraw my my like profile picture. Spritey, what's up? How are you doing? Just widen this out a tad. Maybe pull his chin in a little. There we go. What up, Arkham? How you doing? How you doing? How's everybody on this Monday? Oh, this is the page I'm working on, by the way, right here. Let me turn the reference layer off so we can see a little bit more. I think I'll be able to get this page done. Whoa. That's a lot of change right there. How does the subscribers thing work? That's not something that I like fully understand, I guess. Arkham, what are you talking about, bro? You just sold your house, dude. Stressed out? I don't know. I guess I almost like that better than doing a Patreon because it's like you get something. You know what I mean? Because Patreon, I thought about doing a Patreon and like showing my art progress and my pages. But I feel bad not like giving people like something tangible, you know? As if I have just like a huge, you know, a huge audience like knocking down my door, you know what I mean? Very stressed. You know, I've never sold a house. I've only ever bought a house. So I don't know what the process is like on that side of it. You hate some emotes or you have some emotes? Oh, nice. Those look pretty cool. How hard was that to actually make? Was it really that bad? I understand. I need to be trying to stream a little bit more if I can. My schedule is starting to open up. I've been having a lot of like side projects that I've been trying to do, and I'm starting to get done with them. Meaning my schedule is opening up, and then I don't really do much in the afternoons, you know? And so I'm just like, I could start trying to stream more and try to really hit that, whatchamacallit, the Twitch affiliate. And then I could really try to start like trying to use Twitch as leverage to send people to my next crowdfunding campaign for this book right here. That side I'm not so stressed out about. From the crap we went through in my job last 2 years mixed with the crap we went through in my insurance on the house the last 2 years, my credit shot. I can't get a mortgage. Whoa. With your job, though? Like, how would your job mess that up? I guess there's a lot of minutia that you're not able to tell me right now. That's fine. That's fine if you can't. But, dude, that's like... I don't think I've ever heard of your job being able to mess up your credit score. That's crazy. Other new guys. Huh. Ain't that some BS? I think I know what you mean now. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Man, that's just a lot. Sounds like World War IV is going on upstairs. Rachel's trying to bathe our dog. Poor guy's gotten shaggy. There were weeks I sat at home when new guys ran my route. I was playing catch up for 2 years. How did that job go for? I can't remember if you said you actually went ahead and interviewed for it, or if you told me how it went, or something. But how did that go? Got something pivotal for him. It's his cheek crease. Oh yeah, you're right. That is not a good time to switch jobs. It's actually like an awful time to switch jobs, dude. It can mess you up so bad. Going to battle with Obi with a broke foot. All right, so her broke foot's actually better. Yeah, last Sunday the Lord looked at her and her foot's better, man. For show. She's able to get around. She's not hobbling and all that stuff like she was. So yeah, she's good, man. Haven't even heard her hardly talk about it since then. Like, I've asked her about it a couple times, but dude, it's just like nothing. So there you go. Praise the Lord. So I've been messing around with this new drawing program. This is Clip Studio Paint right here, right? I want to show you some stuff with it because I think it's pretty cool. Hope she stubs her toe for forget my birthday again, second year in a row. Did I forget your birthday? Oh no. Watching with bated breath. Oh my bad, bro. Tell you what, happy belated birthday, and I'm out of here, man. We'll see you guys later. I kid. Yeah, dude, I forget birthdays so bad. Rachel, she tries to get me anytime I have to like unlock her phone for something. She's just like, it's my birthday. And I'm like, I remember the day. I just don't always remember the year. So, back off. Five days later. I won't say nothing then. I won't say nothing. I'm gonna have to switch this up a little bit. This is not what I'm wanting to do with this. I'm wanting him to be like turning to go the other way. Does that look? Does that convey what I'm wanting him to do? Maybe? crisper and crisper. I appreciate that, man. Listen, this program, dude. So I don't know if you know just a whole lot about Clip Studio Paint, but this is what song came on my so Clip Studio Paint is what a lot of mangaka use, right? And I'm about to show you how. Okay, so let's hide some of these layers, right? Okay, so they use this, and you can tell because the pins is like the first one's like a G pin and then a real G pin, so you can, you know, do the whole nine. Let's go to black. Okay. All right. But what's also is that the lines are more reactive to my pressure, like a lot more reactive to my pressure, right? Of course, I have my line really small because I try to be consistent with my line pressure and whatnot. But there's other things. Check this out. This is nutty, okay? They have 3D models, my God. 3D models, okay? Of everything, okay? That you can use, and you can, like, say you're like sleeping at a desk. So check this out, okay? Somebody sleeping at a desk, you can do it from like any kind of angle, and you can also change like the lighting of it and whatnot, and then you can also change where the light source is coming from too, which is super cool, right? And still, all right, and then you can just be like, I need to move them here. And then just be like, they're sitting here at this desk. See what I mean? It's like Unreal Engine 5 for manga. Yeah. So a lot of mangaka use this, but check this out. There's more. There's more. There's more. There's so much more. You're not even prepared for this. Okay? I want to show you like the big crazy stuff. So like a lot of the manga effects and all that kind of stuff are in here. But hold on. Image material. Here we go. Okay, hold on. Maybe it's over here. Okay. Check this out. You ready? It's a cityscape on a brush. I'm just like, yo, I need a skyline. Check it out. Right. It gets even crazier. Check this out, okay? I don't think it's in here. Oh, bro, just wait, dude. Just wait. You're not even ready for this, okay? But I have to find it. Okay, for one, here you go. Hold on, wait. And you can monochrome it, right? So it's like the whatchamacallit, like the skylines and stuff. But there's more, there's more, there's more. You're never gonna look at a single manga the same again. It's already got to me. I can't look at it the same anymore. Where are they at, dude? Maybe it's here. Maybe it's here. It is here. Okay. You see what I mean? Look at that. And then you can, of course, like add your textures and stuff like that to it, because they don't leave it like this. They'll be in here like, let's say like this right here with a G pen or anything, and they'll be like, that's what I'm saying. And they add like all kinds of like screen tones and all that kind of stuff to it, right? A lot of pro mangaka use this, okay? And what was crazy is I've started using it. A lot of people have been like use it for comics and whatnot. What's super crazy to me is how like baked in you can just make your speech bubbles and whatnot. Like, say, let's go look here. Actually, this is a better page right here. Okay. This right here is a speech bubble that I made, right? So, which I really like this page. Let's go right here. I used their speech bubble thing for this right here, for this one. So yeah, dude, there's so much that makes this easier. Like it makes it easier. Now my problem so far has been learning where all the buttons are and like learning how to use it, because I spent a lot of time in Procreate, right? But this has been a bit of a game changer, I'll have to say. Just kind of like learning how to do it, because you remember whenever I was on Procreate and I would do like the whole grid page and all that stuff to do my lines, and I would actually draw my lines out and all that stuff. There's a rectangular box tool that I just take, and I'll just do this right here. And that's it. And I just make my panels how I want to. So, it is, in fact, quite nice. Golly, hold on, my father's. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I think I need to like just round his shoulder off a little bit more. And you should, but thing is you kind of just. I can tell that I'm getting better and better with each drawing, each page, and everything that I've like been doing. Let's move you down here. Okay. And we shall start. So, I mean, you just gotta, it's like anything else, you just gotta give it a little bit of time. Oh, I'm wanting to mess around with some of these brushes that I got, but I kind of want to wait before I start like really messing with them. Using this as an ink brush, this one right here. I like this one a lot. So it would be like this right here. Something like that. Be a little bit more expressive. This is another one that would be good to use. That one might actually be more my speed. But that being said, I'm gonna go back to what I've been using right here. Which this one's pretty expressive. Sometimes that can bite me in the butt a little bit though. I mean, it just is what it is. The only drawback of using Clip Studio that I've seen is that it is a subscription, but it's not much, and it's worth it for how easy it makes everything. Hold up. Okay. It does make everything a little bit easier. But it took me a little second to like switch up my actual workflow to accommodate to it, and I'm still going through a little bit of growing pains with it and a little bit of a learning curve. But so far it's really not that bad. And the asset store is crazy, and a lot of good ones are free as far as the assets go. I've downloaded a bunch and not paid for a single one of them. line editor is really nice. But I had to kind of like learn how to use that. Because it's not like Procreate. And so I was like trying to make it do Procreate stuff. And it just wasn't working. But it's because it's not made for that. It's made to, you know, do differently. Also, I don't like the length of his nose here, so we're going to do this instead. I don't know if you're still here or not, but a little tip that I use. Not really something that you hear a whole lot, but this helps me with my line work a lot, is I jack the stabilization up like a lot because I have a really shaky hand. Unless I'm very fast. But if I'm fast, it ends up not doing what I want it to, you know. You heard, you feel me? So I jack the stabilization up really high. Excuse me. I don't think that did it ever actually go through? I'm trying to remember. I remember that you sent it, but I don't think that it ever actually worked to where I could watch it. Okay. No. I never actually watched it after you resent it, so give me just a second. I'm about to watch it right now. Wow. It's a lot more talking in it than I expected. That was funny. So look at these vector lines that I can, like, look how I can manipulate it. This is crazy. Watched an animator that was animating in Clip Studio Paint, which some people do actually use Clip Studio for animation. I probably wouldn't personally. Couldn't really tell you why. I just feel like I would go back to Procreate Dreams, just because animation's hard anyways, and having to like relearn how to animate on another software, it just sounds like a headache. But at the same time, I mean, if I could do it all in this program, why not, right?
Something I've also been like, I'm trying to practice is using my whole arm whenever I draw. If I can. Some stuff you just can't. I mean, like, for a line that small right there, like, you're not really going to try to use it. Or for the, like, the bigger lines, makes it just a little bit more, a little bit more stable. Might do this. Yeah. I don't like know 'em, but I know of them. You know, I actually knew that about him. Um, at least like him, at least. I don't know if I knew that about her. Like her too, because that's actually pretty cool. Like that they're both into it, you know what I mean? He used to be a really big WoW player. I think that they went to BlizzCon at least once, or they were talking about going or something. Like the one conversation, they watched the long animes, Naruto and One Piece. Whew. me let you in on a little secret. I've actually been reading One Piece. You've been watching it? How far are you? Because I started watching it at one point in time and got to around like episode 150 ish, somewhere around in there. And I was like, I get why people like this, but it's just so long of an anime. Like, it's just so unbelievably, just such a long show, you know? And, like, I get why people liked it, you know? Like, I didn't dislike it. It's just the length of the show just, it was a deterrent, I'll be honest with you. Because that's a huge time sink, right? So I decided to read it instead. I've been reading it on the Shonen Jump app, and I've been reading it for like a month ish, somewhere around in there. I'm currently on chapter 87. I just looked. I'll read like a chapter or a few chapters a night, and then if I like don't really have just a whole lot going on, I'll try to like read some of it here and there. Hold on. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Just a second, I gotta make sure that I'm drawing things up and going. Because it wasn't going. Okay. I exist. Alright, so let's see. My mother and Aisha watched the live action the other day and was like, that's pretty good. I want to watch the anime. Okay. I'll address that before I address this next bit. I did the same thing. I mean, the exact same thing. There's a couple people over here after church. And we ended up watching it. And I was like, yo, this is actually pretty good. Like, they did it justice. Because I remember watching, those parts in the anime. Okay. You see that picture that Ichiro Oda drew for Johnny Depp? Captain Jack Sparrow did it in the One Piece style. No. Let's look this up. Whoa. I wonder if he's actually a One Piece fan. Because I know one thing, that would be insanely cool to have. One Piece fan or not, I mean, because you can't be one of the most famous pirate actors and not at least have One Piece on your radar in some capacity, right? Not saying necessarily that he has to, be an avid fan of it, but just that it is on his radar, Because I know me, I'm wanting to read it because, for one, I like his art style a lot. Like, yeah, it's shonen and it's shonen to the core, But you can't deny how good his art is, and that he is really good at, believe it or not, okay, I'm about to say this about One Piece, okay, but for the manga, he's really good at pacing a story. I know. There's like 1,100 plus chapters of it. I get it. It's a long story. But the pace on the page is really good. That's what I'm talking about. That's really, really good. And his panel pace is really good. Now, does just a whole lot happen? A whole lot doesn't happen in most shonen. That's just shonen in general. I mean, come on. It's really just manga in general. Not a whole lot happens, but they're really good at their panel pacing. And their art style is very dynamic. They're very good, right? And I don't know. I just enjoy it. I'm not gonna come out here and just be like, well, I'm the biggest One Piece fan on the face of the planet, and I'm the biggest, Oda fan on the face of the planet. He's a huge inspiration for it. No, I'm not. I'm a recent fan, and I'm not even close to halfway or even a quarter of the way through, But I mean, come on. It's good, Like I get it. I get why people like it. Dude got to like chapter 1050 and was asked what the One Piece was, and he said, I thought about that the other day and thought, I guess I need to figure out what it is. I'm gonna be honest with you, I think he's trolling. I really, really think he's trolling whenever it comes to that. Because this is me now. I think he's trolling. God, it's gonna sound so elitist, but here we go. If you read the manga, he does a lot of Q&A at the ends of his chapters, right? And he does nothing but troll those people that send him letters. So that's why I think that's a troll. I think he knows exactly what the One Piece is. Yeah, see what I mean? See what I mean? Like, yeah, that's funny. Like that's really funny. Like that, but then again, that's something I would say. If I was in his position and I'm a huge troll, I'll constantly just be messing with people. Tell me that's not something I would say. Oh, I guess I probably need to figure out what that is. 1,050 chapters in. Yeah, exactly. You see what I'm saying? Now it's starting to make a little bit more sense here. So personally, I think it's a troll. Turns out the One Piece was the friends we made along the way. What if that was actually it? The One Piece was the power of friendship. Think how legendary that would be if that was it. You know what I mean? Just like the most legendary troll, dude. He'd be legendarily hated. You know what I mean? Dragging people along for like 20 plus years. I would watch it twice. It's hilarious. He's an even greater troll than we imagined. Absolutely amazing, stunning. I do think that Oda has the potential to be called like the Toriyama of our time. Because of how big One Piece actually is. And his art style is so unique, you notice it immediately, you know? And he's very obviously inspired by Toriyama. I mean, here's a question for you. Is Dragon Ball, and I say it like that because that's how it's called in Japan, right? It's just Dragon Ball. It's not Dragon Ball Z, Kai, you know, which Kai is something completely. It's just Dragon Ball. Is One Piece bigger than Dragon Ball? That's something to kind of chew on for a little bit, because it's like knee jerk would be like no, and then your other knee would say yeah. You know what I mean? Because it's like there's a lot of factors that play into that, you know? Like, how long did Dragon Ball actually run? How long did Toriyama's run of Dragon Ball actually run? See, exactly. I think it depends on how you look at it. You know, if you look at it like purely on sales of the actual manga, One Piece has it. But also, One Piece has 1,000+ chapters, and Dragon Ball didn't reach that far. But whenever you look at something like influence, I'd have to say Dragon Ball has it, you know? Because there's no One Piece without Dragon Ball. Think like it matters about reach? Yeah, because I think it matters, and I think this coincides with reach. Okay, so just bear with me. I think it matters how recognizable the characters are, right? And I think that it matters not only, you know, how recognizable the characters are. I think it matters how recognizable the characters are to your normal, average, everyday nobody. You know, you're just 100% NPC of a person, you know. No, there's not. You're right, but there is a Goku. It's like, is Luffy more instantly recognizable than Goku is?
Because I feel like I could go to anyone at my church. Okay. And show them a picture of each. And a fair amount of them would actually know for a fact that that's Goku. And it probably a fairly decent amount would know that that's Luffy from One Piece. But even more would be like, that's Dragon Ball Z. I remember that. And some would be like, that's One Piece. You know what I'm saying? In Japan, maybe to the young generation, but I'm not sure. See, I don't know, man, because it's still so baked into the culture there. You know what I mean? So it really, really makes you wonder, you know, which one is actually bigger. You know, because I watched a documentary one time. Let me meander for a little bit when I'm supposed to be inking. I watched a documentary one time. I think it was called Batman and Bill. Right? You may or may not have seen this. If not, you especially need to watch it. It's about the guy who actually made Batman. Not Bob Kane, who is credited for Batman, but the actual original creator of Batman, right? Everything that made Batman Batman was made by a guy named Bill Finger, right? But because of Bob Kane, Bill Finger never got the recognition that he deserved for it. Stretchy pirate mind. You're goofy, dude. You're Monkey D. Goofy. But this movie that I'm talking about takes this guy's journey, and he goes to a bunch of different countries, and he gives this presentation. A lot of times it's to kids, and he says he's been to hundreds of different countries, hundreds of different schools and assemblies and whatnot, and there has not been a single person that didn't recognize the bat symbol. Everybody knew what it was. Not a single person didn't not recognize it. And so he went, like, this whole documentary was about him going and trying to help Bill Finger's family get his name accredited for his work on Batman. Now, these people, they weren't, looking for money. That'd be like your first bit. And I think even DC was a little reluctant about it because they probably thought that, people was wanting money. But no, his family actually just wanted his legacy to be remembered because this guy was the guy who he designed Batman. He named Batman, if I'm not mistaken. Was the artist for a long time. He was like the Jack Kirby to Bob Kane's Stan Lee for like a long time, if I'm not mistaken. You'd have to watch it to like fully get it. Look at that. We get to swing the band hammer. Isn't that beautiful? It happens every time. Every time.
Bam! Banned. Okay. But yes, go back to this point. Or at least this story. I think DC was reluctant to like listen to him because they thought that I guess that they were, gunning for money. And that's what they were, afraid of. But they didn't. That's not what they wanted. They just wanted his recognition because this guy, Bill Finger, who, designed Batman, who designed a lot of his villains, a lot, like including the Joker. Provided the art for it and everything. And whatnot. Bob Kane ends up screwing this guy out of a bunch of money and a bunch of the prospects for it and all that. Of course, Bob Kane's dead now, dead and gone. But eventually, DC, I guess, realized that, hey, they're not actually here for money. And so they started, I just wonder how Batman would be today if he would have been at the reins. Who you mean, Bob Kane or Bill? You'd have to watch it, because if I'm not mistaken, like the deal that he worked out with was, it was some kind of shady deal, so that way all he had to do was just pay him, but he wouldn't get the overall rights to it like Bob did. And what's sad about the whole story, spoiler alert, but here it goes. Bill ended up dying alone in his apartment. I don't think anybody found him for like a long time. Broke, penniless, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it just wasn't good. It ended up being like really, really rough. But DC ended up coming around whenever they realized that I guess the family wasn't just in it for the money. And now, I want to say it is the most recent Batman v Superman. I want to say that's around the time. From then on, in the Batman movies, it says based on original characters by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. So DC has started to show the rights and all that kind of stuff. Which I thought that was a bit of a win for DC, because I'm not real big on corporations and whatnot. So yeah, Dragon Ball and One Piece. Talk about a hard tangent that I went on there for a little while. But yeah, you especially, you need to watch it. It's a very good documentary. Golly, dude, you hit me with a flashbang of that memory. Seems like I don't get to watch much because I have people calling me all the time. I just don't like TV much. Where did our D&D campaign let off from years ago? Wow. Y'all's characters kissed happily ever after the end. My billboard dragon, dude. Painful and left you sore. What are you talking about? What kidney stone? Good stuff, eh? Oof. Yeah, I feel sorry for you, brother. Commissioner Gordon. No, actually, it's not. It's the villain of this story. This is my graphic novel that I make. Here, hold on. Right here. My graphic novel. This is the villain to the story. He do be kind of looking like Commissioner Gordon. I want to say maybe I've thought that before. It's the stash and the furrowed brow and the mad look. Mega Man vibe in a good way. I can show you some finished pages. This book right here is chapters 1 through 5. I'm currently drawing chapter 7. This is from This is one of my finished pages that I just did. Most of it, of course, is on Procreate because I've switched drawing programs. So like here's one, here's a finished page. Here's another finished page. So, let's see, you can see him, he's like working on stuff. So, but yeah, these are unfinished pages. And I'm currently inking, I think it's like page 5? Well, no, I don't know. Give me just a second. Yeah, page 5. So, you can read it for free online, which I've got to upload chapter 4 online. I wish that vector line would work a little bit better on this. But alas, it don't. Come on. There we go. Crap. I drew this TV screen right here on the same layer. Oh well. It'll be alright. We ball. We'll make it work. As Jesus Christ once said, we ball. I'm joking. Bro. There we go. think I'm actually going to make his mustache a little bit bigger. Yeah. Also, Mater, how did you find my stream, dude? Are you like been a follower for a long time? Man, you not joking. Okay. Because I was sitting here thinking, I was like, man, how did he find me? And I was like, has he been following from like way back whenever I used to draw back, like way back in the day on Twitch? Back when y'all done the podcast and stuff. Yeah, see, I remember starting to draw on Twitch around that time. I was wondering if that's like that's how you found me, or how you saw that I was live. Come on. Jeez, 1 a.m. Good grief, dude. Get the heck out of here. Go to sleep. Okay, one last thing to add, and we are done with the ink layer. No. See you, brother man. You have a good night, my guy. I'm gonna be on until I get this page done. At least. Okay. So now we do all of our color layers. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We forgot something here. Okay. I think that's all my flats. Now we do a shade layer. Alright, we'll see you, bro. I appreciate you, my man. Come back anytime, dude. Love to have you around. For sure. I stream every Monday night. Every now and then in between. Okay. Last thing I have to do is put in speech bubbles, and I think I'm actually going to call it there. So I appreciate you all for coming around and hanging out with me. I stream on Monday nights. Follow me for information on whenever this sucker's going to drop. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.